Father Jeffrey Laible and his cohorts who serve our men and women in the armed forces as chaplains. In your particular instance, you are noted for going over to Landstuhl, Germany.
Correct.
And for the benefit of those who might not know exactly what is over there at Landstuhl, as I understand it, you may correct me, please, Father, that is a staging point where a lot of our men and women who have been injured, perhaps all, come in for evaluation, and then from there they go back to whatever hospitals or maybe perhaps hopefully home. Could you comment about that just a minute, Father Laible?
Yes, Bill, I could. When the troops are injured in Iraq or Afghanistan or wherever it might be in the Middle East, they receive initial medical care, whether it be in Afghanistan or Iraq, and once they're stabilized enough to be able to make the 6 or 7 hour flight to Landstuhl, Germany, they're flown to Germany, and the medics in Germany do further stabilization of the troops in Germany. The average stay, is only 3 days. A long stay would be perhaps maybe 7 days, and and there, of course, the reason why is because we, each day we have troops come in, and so we only have so many beds, and so the medics stabilize the troops, and then they, if they're able to return back to Iraq or Afghanistan, then of course they'll go back.
Which is
to
too
the war
bad in
zone.
my judgment. But
I'm sorry?
I think that's too bad. We have to send them back.
Well, but you know what?
Having been wounded. God, I'm not sure want to.
It depends on the seriousness of their injury.
Sure,
if they're able to go back, 99% of the troops that I've talked to want to go back, even those who are seriously injured. But if their injury is such that they cannot go back to Iraq or Afghanistan, then they're transferred to a hospital somewhere here in the United States. So the stays are very short. But that's because we have troops coming in every day, and we've got to make sure that we have rooms available.
How long have you been in the Army?
I have been in about 22 years. 22 years. And first I was in the Air Force Reserves, and now I'm in the Air National Guard.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
And have you been a chaplain then this whole
That's
time?
correct. Yes. Right,
and
the
always ministering to wounded troops? Has that been your
No, that didn't start
forte?
until 2005. Of course, the war started. The second Gulf War started in 03, 2003, and then the Air National Guard picked up this particular mission of going to Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany. That began in the spring of 2004, and my first tour there was the spring of 2005.
What does a tour consist of? How many
anywhere
weeks?
from 60 to 120 days. It could even be up to 179 days. Depends on the branch of the service that you're in. Some branches of the service require an entire year. Some require 2 years.
Now, you don't go bed to bed and say, are you a Catholic or a Presbyterian at all?
No, I do not do that. No, but we do have a patient list, and hopefully that patient list will have their religious denomination on there, and we have access to that list, and we can always go bed to bed and ask them if they have a particular religious denomination as well.
If I can remember the figure right, which is doubtful, 80% of Americans claim to have a religion, but that doesn't mean 80% of Americans go to church at all. They just claim to be religious.
Right.
Okay? So I'm sure that no matter who they are or what faith they would profess, they're awfully grateful to see you. No atheists in a foxhole, they say.
Well, yes, I've heard that, except that that there very well could be. Everybody does not profess have a religious denomination, but I would say that 99% of the troops are very grateful, as well as the medics, to have chaplains in the hospitals.
Do you have anything that you'd like to wrap up with before we bring off? We have a few minutes here.
Yeah, you know what? Would it be all right if I just share a little bit from my journal?
Please. Oh, please, yes.
Yes, I shared this with the parishioners at Holy Family and then at St. Mary's a couple of weeks ago, and I'd like to share this. I wrote this on August 15th of 2009. I've been with 2 Army National Guard soldiers this week who have both sustained head wounds. The young soldier that Chaplain Hyder and I visited on the intensive care unit Thursday arrived on Tuesday with no hope of survival. Much to the surprise of his medics, he was making steady progress, and so there was hope that he might be able to recover to some degree. The soldier that I visited today, Brian, was also shot in the head and is likely not to live. I don't know anything about Brian. I don't know where his home is at, who his family members are, how long he has been in the Army National Guard. I don't know his religious denomination if he has one. As I stood over his bed in the intensive care unit, I introduced myself even though he was unconscious. Brian, I said, I'm Father Laible, and I'm here to pray with you. Then I thanked him for his service to our country and prayed for him and for his medics. It is an awesome responsibility to stand at the bed of a wounded soldier on the intensive care unit. On behalf of the citizens of the United States, I believe it is my duty and honor to thank the soldiers for their service to our country. Words cannot describe what it is like to be in this position. Here you are, as a chaplain with this duty and honor, at a time when you have no idea if that soldier will live or die. As I walked out of the intensive care unit and back to my office, I couldn't help but think that all the years that I have worn a military uniform and all the hassles that have come from trying to balance a civilian job and a military job would in no way compare to what these two soldiers have done. My sacrifice is like a small, tiny drop in a bucket compared to what they've done. Words are empty to describe how I felt as I walked back to my office. Words are inadequate to describe what it is like to unload our wounded warriors off the bus and onto a gurney. Words are inadequate. It is an awesome duty. It is an awesome responsibility and privilege. Again this year, I've met some really talented and generous Americans. I've met some people who have made huge sacrifices to help our wounded warriors. I talked to a medevac crew member today, a lieutenant colonel, as we were waiting to unload the incoming patients. I asked him how long it had been since he had had some sleep. 3 days was his answer.
Oh, dear.
Think about that. 3 days since he had last slept. I told him I never get used to seeing these young troops all shot up. He agreed with me. Our words were few, but we were both on the same page. One didn't have to say all that much. What can you say?
Father Jeffrey Laible.
Awesome.
Thank you, Colonel.
Thank you very much, Judy and Bill. This has been wonderful.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your service, too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Father Jeffrey Laible, Holy Family Rector and United States Chaplain. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.